Hello! I'm Joy here with a new video. As usual in my previous videos, if you haven't seen them, I recommend you to watch them. As I promised, we start with my first hypothetical story project and what will be my version of a third game about my favorite Pokemon spin-off saga, Pokémon Colosseum and Pokémon XD Gale of Darkness, called Pokémon Shades of Turmoil, where we'll explore my expanded version of the Ore region. With new characters created by me, we will see my interpretation of century-old characters from the two previous games being older, and we'll even see official characters from the games of the main Pokémon saga. And of course, this couldn't be a real Ore game without the Shadow Pokémon. But before we continue, don't forget to like, share this video with your friends, hit the subscribe button, and activate the little bell to be aware of what I upload. Also, I want to give a huge thanks to all the people who have been supporting me and helping me through this process. Their social medias and channels will be in the description of this video. And as you've been able to see, the design of some characters as well as the art of the map have been made by me. I admit it's tedious to do all this by myself, but in the end it's worth it. And my apologies if my style doesn't look like the official Pokemon art. Before I start, a few things need to be clarified. 1. This is not any prediction, guess, or preview of an official Pokémon game. This hypothetical project was made solely for entertainment purposes and to give a love letter to both these classic spin-off games and the Pokémon saga. The official characters you will see are owned by Pokémon Company, Gamefreak, and even Genius Sonority. Now that all this has been clarified and without further ado, we begin by introducing the Shadow Pokémon. For those who don't know what are Shadow Pokémon, in short, they are Pokémon that have been artificial closed the doors of their hearts, turning them into emotionless fighting machines. These Pokémon are being created by the criminal organization Cypher in order to be able to commit criminal acts freely and without impediments. I will leave you some videos of other users talking with more detail about Shadow Pokémon. Their links and channels names will be in the description of this video. Now that's covered, I introduce the two main characters of this hypothetical game and story, Nick and Thomas. Nick is an anxious, scary cat, gentle and strange 16 years old teenager. He used to be a Cypher peon until he betrayed them after stealing the only two snack machines developed by the same criminal organization. His past is a completely mystery. All he knows is that he has been there for as long as he can remember, and in his words, say that criminal organization was the closest thing to a home he had. It is said that Nick has a gift. With this gift, he is able to hear and understand perfectly because the inner voices of Pokémon. He is also one of the few people who can see the invisible aura of Shadow Pokémon with the naked eye. His starters are a Riolu and a Shadow Eevee. As for Thomas, he is a reserved, choleric, disciplined, and intelligent 10-year-old kid from the Paldea region. He used to be a happy child full of dreams and goals to accomplish, living with his loving parents. But everything changed when Cypher kidnapped his parents. After this incident, Thomas has never been the same again and traveled to the Ore region through Agent Locker. He is currently residing temporarily in the Pokemon HQ labs. His starters are a Fuecoco and a Shadow Eevee as well. Synopsis. It's been 10 years since the first Shadow incident and 5 years since the second Shadow incident. Once again, we return to the Ore region where the criminal organization Cypher has returned for the third and for everyone's sake last time. And along with them, the Shadow Pokémon too. A new era of darkness looms over this arid and forgotten region. And we, EI, Nick and Thomas, are on a mission to stop Cypher, also to capture and save the Shadow Pokémon before it's too late. Are you ready? What have you witnessed is a brief summary of this hypothetical game synopsis. As for the protagonist, this time will we have not only one, but two protagonists making a duo, being a nice reference to the Pokémon Colosseum protagonist duo, Wes and Rui. But the difference lies in that both Nick and Thomas not only have access to a snack machine each other, but they are also both trainers and are playable characters. That means that we have access to two teams of 6 Pokémon for each one. And depending on which of the two protagonists you have in front as leader, you'll be able to use that Pokémon team. And you may wonder, but how we can do the leadership exchange? Well, the exchange leadership will work in this way. In the menu, we will have a new option called Switch. In this way, we can change the leadership very similar to the classic Paper Mario games, when you could change the leadership between Paper Mario and any of his companions in battle. But here, this option only once being out of any Pokémon battle. So...
Cuídate, Wazowski, cuidadito!
Also, having this new mechanic opens the possibility of having a multiplayer mode in a Pokémon game. So you better train both teams, because sometimes we will have couple battles where both Nick and Thomas can only choose 3 of their 6 Pokémon each one. But if you are playing in multiplayer mode, either local or online, in a few occasions you can use all your 6 Pokémon of both teams. I know, it sucks, but let's face it, this is the best I could came up with to solve that drawback and make the experience somewhat enjoyable and playable. And regarding the type of world, this hypothetical game will be set in a semi-open world like Super Mario Odyssey. I know this will hurt a lot of people who want an open world, but I feel like people sometimes forget this. It's one thing to have an open world and another to have an open world that is empty. Also, taking count the capacity that the console can offer to run these games. And while sacrifice freedom of exploration, in return, there's more room to add more Pokémon in the Pokédex. And to finally conclude this introductory section, both Nick and Thomas are not your typical white protagonists and without any personality of their own. Sometimes you can hear them talk and interact with other trainers, characters, and even Pokémon. Having funny moments between the duo and with external characters, you will also have options to choose which the two characters to use for central dialogues and solve problems, being the closest thing we will have to a decision making in a Pokémon game. And that will be all for now. I was originally planning to include the introductory section next to the first part of this video saga, but I realized the video was starting to get too long. Besides, I don't want to bore you in the process if this were be alongside with the first part. But don't worry, the first part of this hypothetical story project will be released soon. But in the meantime, and in order to not leave you waiting without news, even more so because I'm just going through the first weeks of a new university term, I'll leave you this introductory section. Later on, new mechanics will be discovered. Until then, see you soon. Lamb Joy out!